Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday to y'all. I was out here cutting some wood and wanted to at least take this opportunity to go over a couple wood cutting implements that I've been using as of late. I've been using Stihl products for many years now. I own their chainsaws, their blowers, their um, their trimmers, their weed whackers, things like that. So I'm a big fan of Stihl products. I am not sponsored by Stihl. That being said, it's not something I would object to. So Stihl, if you're watching, just kidding. That being said, today I think we want to talk about what I've been using this afternoon to chop wood. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at two implements today and kind of go compare and contrast the two and what they're good for. We're going to take a look at the Stihl Pro Cutting Axe and the Stihl Pro Maul. I should say the splitting axe. The splitting axe is on the left, the maul is on the right. And as you can tell by looking at them, they have some definite differences to them. So the axe I've had for about 3.5 years now. It's been my primary splitting tool. I was using the sledgehammer and spike method for a while on some of the larger rounds, but I found that the axe does a pretty good job, especially if the wood's been seasoned. The wetter stuff, of course, it gets more challenging. So I've had, like I said, the axe for about 3.5 years. The maul I just picked up about 2 weeks ago, and I want to go and kind of talk about some of the differences here. The maul is what I've been using to chop up the latest rounds here. Obviously, the rounds that you're seeing, these large rounds here, I'm not cutting those up yet, but what I am doing is I am working on this pile here, and I have a bunch of wood I need to buck up pretty quick and get those rounds started and seasoned as well. But right now we're just trying to take care of this pile, and I decided to give the maul a shot and go with that tool as it's new to me. As always, make sure you're wearing eye pro. I always recommend carrying at least a tourniquet and a med kit nearby. You want to be cutting tree limbs, not your own, but if you accidentally do, you want to have a way to mitigate that and to fix said problem. So with that, let's take a look at the differences between the two. So let's go ahead and look at the axe and the maul side by side here. So when you look at the two, you can see that the blades are very different. The axe has definitely got a wider cutting head on it. The back of it is going to be more rectilinear, and it's going to be a little bit smaller. The maul has got a much smaller blade, and it's got a much fatter square head. The maul itself, the head weighs around 6.6, while the cutting axe weighs approximately 5.5. And as you can see, the length of the two are a little bit different. I'll line these up a little bit better. So you can see the maul has definitely got a longer arm. They're both straight hickory handles, but the maul definitely is the longer, heavier implement. So when we're talking about the way this works, I've been finding a lot of success with the Maul when it's coming down to cutting larger rounds. You get more swing, you got a longer moment arm, right? You get more swing, you get more concentrated pressure on each blow. And when you hit with the Maul, it almost seems like a blunt impact. I mean, it doesn't give you the nice slicing sound that the axe gives you, and it's obviously not as wieldy as the axe. But when it comes to the larger rounds, the Maul really is working out nicely. The axe, I still love the axe. The splitting axe is fantastic. It works better for some of the smaller stuff. It's much more you can wield it a little bit better. And even if it's not shown here, but I also have the cutting axe, which is smaller than the splitting axe. And that cutting axe, again, is even more handy. It's just lighter, doesn't chop very well. It's designed for cutting, hence the name. But if I had to choose between these two, that's a really hard pick. For everyday tasks, I think the axe still comes out on top. But for dealing with those larger rounds and getting those really heavy blows, that Maul really does a fantastic job. You can see both have the protective covering over the hickory handle. The handle profile is very similar. It's straight. It's got a little bit of a bulge on the end with the Maul and more of a bulge on the end with the axe. And when we put the heads together, you can see the difference when it comes to the length of the blade on the axe versus the Maul. So, you know, both products have been doing very well for me. But today I'm very happy to say that the Maul is getting the job done. And one of these days I'll start cutting up these guys. I've been keeping these around for chopping blocks, and plus the kids like running and jumping on them. But any questions on that, feel free to reach out. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Like I said, I've had very limited time on the Maul, but so far so good. I've had extensive time on the axe, and will continue to keep that in my arsenal of wood cutting, splitting tools. But again, another good product from Stihl. I'm happy to say, if anything comes up to where, you know, a head flies off or comes loose or handle breaks, you know, and those things do happen from time to time, but I'll be sure to let y'all know. But for those of you out there splitting wood, go get back after it. And if you're looking for a good splitting implement, give these folks a try. Obviously, they're a well-renowned brand name. Been around for quite a while, and they've been treating me right. So anyway, hope everybody has a rest of their days, a good day, that you have fun, you stay safe, enjoy your blessings, and until next time, take care.